Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Jai Hind. I hope all of you are doing well. Good evening. So, I guess all of you are doing well. And I hope I am properly audible and visible to all of you. Good evening. Okay, so first of all, welcome to the session. And I am quite good. Welcome to the session. We have started our current affair discussion last day. Last day, we have discussed mostly the topics which were related to mains examination. Like we have discussed about caste census, we have discussed about mental health issues in India, we have discussed about India's diplomatic push, we have also discussed a few articles like nomadic elephant, and then we have discussed about this one topic of climate intervention. There we have seen stratospheric aerosol. We have also talked about other methods like we have seen this cirrus cloud thinning also. We have talked about this sulfur aerosol injection, marine cloud seeding. We have also talked about painting on the walls. So these were the two things which we have discussed in the last session. They were mostly related to prelims portion. Now, in today's session, the topics which we are going to discuss in today's session. Okay. One of the topic, the first topic which we are going to discuss here is going to be about the train accidents in India. Now you all know that in the past, in the recent past as well as in the last year and even before that in 2023, there have been multiple rail accidents in India. And despite several of the measures which has been taken by government, we see that from time to time, Indian railways are continuously meeting with one or other accident. So this is the first topic which we are going to talk about is the train accident in India. It is again part of your GS paper 2. Okay. It is part of governance. Okay. Or you can also consider it part of infrastructure. That is GS paper 3. So both GS paper 2 and GS paper 3 are related here, train accidents in India. So these two topics we are going to discuss. Okay. Second thing which we are going to discuss is from GS paper 1, resources, and here we have the water. Okay. So here we are talking about the resources, and in that we are going to talk about water harvesting. This is connected with your environment portion also, but we will take it from GS paper 1 side. The third part which we are going to talk about is the role of women. Role of women in agriculture. So this is again part of GS paper 3 as well as GS paper 1, society. So this is another section. And then we are going to talk about this one, nickel as a resource. Okay. So nickel as a resource, you know that many a times there have been questions about lithium, cadmium and other. So we have one such element, nickel also. So we will talk about that as well. This year in prelims also there was a question about nickel. So nickel is also one of the main source, one of the main elements in many of the exercises, in many of the industries. So we are going to talk about this one also. Okay. I have a request, your Adhyan batch and time are matching. Adhyan batch timing is in the morning, 8 to 10. See, the thing is that even if we took it, even if we plan it in the evening, some batches will merge, some batches are going to be at the evening time also. That is one of the challenge, that we cannot find a time. That time could be like 6 a.m. in the morning or 12 or after 10 p.m. in the evening. So that is going to be a challenging part. In the daytime or in the evening, whenever we take the time, there will be one batch or other from Patna to Dehradun to online to offline to Karol Bagh and Mukherjee Nagar. At least in one of the time, some one batch will be there. That is one of the most trickiest part. Okay, so this is one thing. Now, and this is the nickel as a resource. You can take it as part of prelims also, and even GS paper 3. Okay. So these are the topics which we are going to discuss today. But before that, we are going to do this revision. Okay. We are going to do this revision. Yes, Amit, I have informed the team about it. I have informed the team about it to tell me about the schedule of it. Once I get the schedule of it, I will inform you. Okay. I have communicated to the team last day itself about this foundation class, current affair weekly class. So once I get the time, I will inform you as soon as possible. Okay. So let us see this question. The first one, consider the following statement. S-400 system can provide defense against ballistic missile. India has co-produced S-400 in association with Russia. It can operate at an altitude between 10 meters and 30 kilometers. These are revision questions. These are the revision MCQs. We have already discussed this topic in the previous week. We have discussed this topic in the previous week. So on the basis of that, we are discussing this one. B option. Yes, I think if you have revised this, if you have been consistent in the classes, you can answer this. So here, first one is correct. It can provide defense against ballistic missile. India has not co-produced. India has acquired it. So second option is incorrect. Third is correct, that it can operate at an altitude between 10 meters to 30 kilometers. So both 1 and 3 are correct here. So answer will be B option. Coming to the second one, consider the following statement regarding Indian economy. The agriculture sector provides highest level of employment in India. Service sector contributes least to the employment in Indian economy, and the average life expectancy in India has remained constant since 2000. How many of the above are correct? Only one, only two, all three, none. Result se dar. Result is not something to be frightened of. टाइमर भूल गया लगाना। अरे चलो लगा देते हैं। किधर से आता है? They are not giving the timer. Again, the next question I will add that. A option, B option. See, first one is correct, that agriculture sector provides highest level of employment. Service sector contributes least. No, we have seen it is the second major contributor now, roughly around 31%. So here, second option is incorrect. The average life expectancy, it has increased. It has increased. It has now reached up to 72. So this third option is also incorrect. So answer will be A option, only one. Just a second. Why you have asked about timer? Now this board is not working. Just give it some time. The board itself is not responding now. Yes, now it is working. Now, consider the following statement regarding dugong. First is, it is a herbivorous marine mammal. Second is, dugongs can survive in freshwater ecosystem as well. They have the capability of echolocation to track and trace their prey. Their presence signifies healthy seagrass ecosystem. So let me add the timer also this time so that you can answer it in 10 seconds about dugong. Okay. So it is a herbivorous marine mammal. It can survive in freshwater ecosystem as well. They have the capability of echolocation to track and trace their prey. Their presence signifies healthy seagrass ecosystem. हाँ, नजर लग गई थी बोर्ड को. So what will be the answer here? It is a herbivorous marine mammal. So we know that this one is correct. Dugongs, they cannot survive in fresh water. They are essentially marine mammals. Okay. So this second option is incorrect. They have capability of echolocation. That is also incorrect. They are not having any such capability. The third one is also incorrect. Fourth one is correct, that their presence is signifying this healthy ecosystem. So that 1 and 4 is correct. Answer is B option. Okay. 1 and 4, yes. So you have memorized the answers. Consider the following: SDR, gold reserves, foreign currency assets, domestic currency. So how many of them are part of forex reserves of RBI? SDR, gold reserves, foreign currency assets, and domestic currency. How many of them are part of forex reserve of RBI? In 2025 prelims, we have like many of the questions which we have discussed in our classes, like there was one of that topic, Arighatta. So we have discussed that in a revision series. That question was there. Then the question which was with respect to cloud seeding, we have discussed about the different types of substances which are used for cloud seeding. So that question was also there. So if from our questions, if questions are coming in UPSC, so we will keep them repeating, so that by the time your exam comes, you should have all these things in your mind, that if you see the question in that moment itself, you should be able to answer that. Okay. So yes, what we see that domestic currency is not part of it. Foreign currency assets, gold reserves, SDR, they are all part of it. So C option is correct here. So here the answer is option number C, only 3. So this is one part. Okay. These were the questions which we were revising from the previous week. Now we have this one question, we have this one topic today, train accidents. Okay. So let me give you just some figures. Okay. What we see that when we are talking about the train accidents in India, when we talk about train accidents, what we see that over the last 5 years, that is from 2019 to 2024, there has been death of 351 people due to train accidents. Okay. So what we see that 351 people died, 351 deaths due to train accident. And see, there was one particular accident in Balasore in Odisha which claimed life of around 290 plus people. More than 290 people died in one single accident in Odisha. Okay. So if we look at some of the accidents in the recent past, we see that it has claimed hundreds of lives in just one go. So what we see that railway, the Indian railway, it is highly prone to accidents. There have been numerous deaths. There have been injuries. There have been injuries to 1,000+ people in 5 years. And the part is like it's not in difficult terrains. It's not happening in Himalayan regions. It's not happening in the northeastern zone of India. You will find that most of the rail accidents are occurring in the plain regions. That is another challenge. So it is not the difficult terrain, it is the negligence, it is the lack of infrastructure which is the major cause of the accidents. What we see that most of accidents in plain areas. So it is not due to natural factors. It is not that the mountain was having landslides or there was flooding situation or there was dense fog or anything else. In plain areas, in normal areas, due to human negligence, due to fault in the system, due to poor infrastructure, we have seen that there have been loss of hundreds of lives. Okay. So this is one part. Now, this is fact and figure. Now, the second part is, what is the reason behind it? The reasons behind it. Rail accidents. So, can you tell me that what are the reasons behind this railway accidents? CSET में 25 passes. That's good. That's good. कोई बात नहीं शाहीन. You have to just stay in the process. You have to stay dedicated to the process. On Wednesday, I have given you this one suggestion. If RCB can get an IPL trophy, then you can definitely crack the examination. We are talking about not one single train accident. Last day, there was a train accident in Mumbai, which claimed the life of various people. Around 4 people have died there and many more are injured. So last day, there was this accident in Mumbai. But we are not talking about one issue. We are talking in general about the rail accidents or train accidents in India. So what is the reasons behind these rail accidents? First thing is infrastructure. The one of the major thing is infrastructure. What we see that the tracks, they have become quite aged. The bridges are there which are about to collapse. Outdated signaling system is there. So what we see that aging of tracks, bridges in ICU, like I am just writing it in a little bit different manner, means bridges in worse condition. Then what we see that old signaling system. If you see many of the railway bridges in India, like when you are traveling on the tracks, you don't notice that what is beneath that. But if you see it from the side, if you see it from the beneath, if you see the structure of that bridge, and if you imagine a railway is passing through it, you will not dare to like board on that train. If you see the railway bridges in India, if you just see how much old they have become, you will not be even boarding on the train anymore. So that is one of the challenge with infrastructure of railways. Then there is also another part, that is human error. There is also one part which is human error. Now, there is negligence, there is like error by the operating staff, there is also improper signaling, that also becomes the reason. Negligence, improper signaling, then what we see that error by operating staff, and one of the main reason behind this is long hours of duty. What we see that overburdened staff. In many of the railway stations, in many of the railway systems, railway zones, there are staffs who are overburdened. They have been given too much of task, they have been given too much of work, and they are simply overburdened. So that also becomes one of the challenge. Okay. Then we see that there is also failure of equipment. There is also this one part, failure of equipments from time to time. We have the defective wheels, the braking system may be failed. Okay. So what we see that defective wheels and braking system. Defective wheels and braking system. That may also braking system. That may also become one of the main reason for this. But at the same time, there are other factors like overcrowded railway stations and trains. Just go to New Delhi railway station on any Saturday or Sunday and go to platform number 16. You will find two things. The trains which are there on railway, on New Delhi railway station, or even you can go to Mumbai railway station, you can go to Kharagpur railway station, or any other Howrah railway station. Okay. So in all these stations, in all these platforms, on Saturday and Sunday, if you are going there, then you will see the rush. That is simply like, that should not be existing simply there. There should have been division of the traffic, there should have been division of the passenger load there in different railway stations, in different trains and all other possible things. But what we see that it is so much crowded. It is so much crowded, the trains are so much crowded that it is prone to accident. It is becoming prone to accidents. There are many states which are organizing like exams in a crazy manner. They are sending students of one district to some remote district. They are sending people from one part to another part without railway facilities. There is one railway or one train which is passing through that area, and thousands of students are supposed to reach there. So what we see that during various examinations also, the railway stations, the trains, they become overcrowded. So the railway and the management, the administration is waiting for some accidents to happen. So that is one of the challenge. Okay. So in case of Indian Railway, the floods, the landslides or other things are least of the problem. It is the management, it is the infrastructure, it is the equipment that is the major cause of railway accidents in India. Okay. So that is one thing which you all may have observed there. Okay. Yes. So this is one thing. We see that railways are like just waiting for the accidents. If you go to any railway station, the major ones, not the smaller stations, if you go to any capital city, if you go to any major railway stations, it is so much crowded. And the police over there, well, that's a different story altogether. They are handling people as if they are like some animals just flocking over there. So that is how the crowd management is done on railway stations. The railway system is simply not capable to handle that pressure or handle that like crowd. So this is one thing which we see. So inadequacy or incapacity of railway to manage crowd. So that is also one of the reason why railway is prone to accidents, why more and more accidents are happening over there. Okay. Now, what the government has done, what steps has been taken? What steps has been taken? We see that in India, there has been establishment of Commission of Railway Safety. Okay. What we see that there has been establishment of Commission on Railway Safety. So there is a special body. There is a special body which has been set up for looking at the railway safety. Definitely it is not working. Then only that security gap is there. Then we see that there is also launch of Kavach system. Launch of Kavach system. You know that this is an automated braking system and signaling system for preventing head-on collision. Okay. So this is an automated satellite-based signaling and braking system. So that is one thing which we see in case of railways. Okay. So Kavach system is also there. Then what we see that there is also Rashtriya Rail Suraksha Kosh. Okay. So Rashtriya Rail Suraksha Kosh is there for improving the safety infrastructure. Rashtriya Rail Suraksha Kosh. Rashtriya Rail Suraksha Kosh. For safety infrastructure. So that is also one of the part. Okay. Then in some of the areas, there have been unmanned level crossing. Unmanned level crossing means a railway crossing is there, but there is no one to guard it. Okay. So what we see that there has been phase out of unmanned level crossing. Okay. So if a railway crossing is there, railway and road crossing is there, at many places there have been unmanned level crossing, means there was no one to guard it. So that is also being phased out. So we see that at the same time, technological upgrades in coaches, engines and signaling system. So we see that there have been various steps which has been taken by government for improving the rail safety. But despite all these things, the railway accidents are still very much common in India, and it is claiming life of many people. At the same time, we are not even talking about the efficiency of railway system. Railways in India, the transportation system in India, the railway transportation system is one of the most inefficient most inefficient transportation system. In Indian railways, if train is delayed by 1 hour or 2 hours, people generally consider that it is still on time. In other countries, in other areas, if a train is late by 5 minutes, it is considered late. But you can simply understand the perception of people. If a train is delayed by 1 hour or 2 hours, people simply think that it is mostly on time, that it is getting delayed only by 1 hour or 2 hours or 3 hours. Until unless it gets delayed by 12 hours, people consider, okay, still it is fine. Because in India, trains have been delayed by 24 hours, 36 hours, or even more than that. A train which is having a total duration of less than 24 hours can also get delayed by 24 hours. This can happen only in Indian railways. Okay. So that is also one part about Indian railway system. Okay. मैं डॉक्टर की तरह लग रहा हूं? चलो, it's good. Why government do not increase trains? That is something we have to ask from government. I cannot answer on behalf of government why government is not increasing the train. Definitely the pressure on railways is quite high. You can see Indian railways, especially in most some of the eastern sections or other sections, they are overcrowded. People are not able to get tickets in railways. People are not even getting tickets in railways, and still railway is saying that it is suffering loss. So think about this, a railway is running with more than its capacity. A railway is running with more than its capacity, and still railway claims that it is not able to recover the cost of its operation. So from there you can understand how much inefficient the railway system is there. Six-hour late. So yes, in India, like 5 minutes late is not even that problem for people. Here the trains get late for 5 hours, 6 hours, 12 hours, 24 hours. That is the delay time of Indian railways. Okay. So we are not even talking about that delay right now. We are talking about just the safety part. That despite the delay, at least there should be a safe travel. But many a times there is a compromise on that as well. Okay. Many a times you may have heard that in the sleeper coaches or in various AC coaches also, the middle seats fall off on the passenger which was lying on the lower bed, okay, on the lower seat. Okay. So we have seen that those people who are in the middle row, they are like facing a much more greater challenge. Many a times what we have seen that due to faulty beds, due to faulty designs, we see that the middle the middle berth is falling over other passengers, and it becomes a news only if there is a death of the person on the lower berth. Sometimes it generally happens. Then there is fortunately there is no such major injury. But many a times there has been death of people because of this collapse of the middle berth. So think about this, how they are making the coaches. So this is first topic, railways in India. Now coming to the second one. Second one is from Rajasthan. In our previous class also, we have discussed about this one thing. Now, again here, we have this one news from Jaipur's Kukas village. Okay. This is one such example of or a case study of water harvesting. Okay. So this is one example, a case study. Okay. This is one of the case study. Again, it was featured therein the Hindu. Okay. So what we see that there is a Kukas village. It is there in Jaipur, Rajasthan. Okay. So in this village, what we see that ponds have been constructed on 5% of farmers' land. Okay. What we see that ponds constructed on 5% of land of farmers. Only 5% land. Ponds have been constructed on just 5% of land. And what we see that it has been able to conserve the water and provide better irrigation facilities. Okay. So how it has helped water conservation and easy access to irrigation. So this is one case study or an example from Kukas village in Rajasthan. So people have not done anything exceptional thing. They have done one simple thing. They have constructed ponds. They have constructed pond on just 5% of the land of their total land. On just 5% of their total land. And from that 5%, they have been able to get water for the year-round irrigation of both the Rabi crops and the Kharif crops. Okay. So what they have got the benefit, the irrigation for Rabi and Kharif crops, then livestock rearing. What we see that, in fact, they've also got this livestock rearing, horticulture is also there, groundwater recharge is there, horticulture, groundwater recharge. These all things have been possible, and ultimately this all these things, they have helped to increase in income of farmers. Increase in income of farmers. So ultimately what we see that these small steps, they have been making the agriculture self-reliant agriculture. Self-reliant agriculture, lesser input cost, more profitability. Okay. So these all things have been made possible because of water harvesting techniques in this area. Now remember one part, why this is also important. Around 99.4% of the agricultural land in the area of Jaipur, it depends on groundwater. And in this case, groundwater extraction is quite high. Groundwater extraction is quite high. So groundwater is getting depleted. Now if the farmers are going for this practice, if the farmers are resorting to this practice, it helps in conservation of groundwater also, and at the same time it helps in better irrigation of the farms as well. So in your case studies in water or water management, you can mention the name of this village, Kukas village in Jaipur, Rajasthan, where farmers are converting 5% of their land into ponds. They are storing the water over there during the rainfall. They are using it for irrigation, horticulture. They are also doing livestock rearing. They are able to get both Rabi and Kharif cultivation. Ultimately, their income is increasing, their productivity is increasing, and they are not worrying about the water levels. They have no such water stress in the area. So that is one such example. That is one such example of why the water harvesting is useful. Okay. So this one part is there. How to store water in these ponds? You don't have to store water. Water will automatically get collected. When there is rainfall in the area, from all the farm areas, it will come directly to the pond. If the farmers are having pond, the rainfall which is there, it is going into that portion. Like just to give an example, if there is rainfall in Delhi, what happens to that rainwater? It goes into the drains. From that drain, it goes into Yamuna River. From Yamuna River, it goes into Bay of Bengal. Or in most of the cases, in other areas also, in other places also, it is going into drains. From drains, it goes into rivers. From rivers, it goes into the sea areas. So ultimately, we are getting nothing and the sea is getting full of water. So if we are conserving that water in that locality itself, the people would be having supply of water. There will be groundwater recharge and all other benefits. Okay. So what we see that significance. What is the significance of groundwater harvesting? Sorry, signification of rainwater harvesting. What is the significance of rainwater harvesting? The first, of course, the benefit for agricultural sustainability. Agricultural sustainability. That is one of the key benefit. Second major benefit is groundwater recharge. Groundwater recharge. Third one is climate resilience. Suppose in one of the month we are having good amount of rainfall, but in other month if we are not having rainfall, we can have a storage of these water in the pond, and these saved water, these harvested waters can be used for irrigation later on. Okay. It is also providing alternate opportunities. Like aquaculture, fish rearing. So that is also the benefit which comes along with it. Okay. It can also prevent water stress. Prevent water stress in rural and urban areas. Prevent overexploitation of groundwater and reduce dependence on monsoon. So these all benefits can be there if we are going for rainwater harvesting. These all possible benefits can be there. In fact, this will also growth of wetland ecosystem. What we see that there can be a growth of wetland ecosystem also. Okay. That also can be one of the possible parts. Okay. It can even prevent flooding. Now think about this. If a village area is having sufficient amount of ponds, if a village area is having sufficient amount of pond, so in case the flood water comes, Like, you know that many of the areas are prone to flood. So if they're having sufficient number of these water storage infrastructures or water harvesting ponds and all, so they will be absorbing that water. They will be absorbing that water. So that is also going to reduce the impact of flood. They will also be consuming huge amount of flood water. And the advantage is that later on, that same flood water can be used for irrigation and other purposes. So there are multiple benefits of having rainwater harvesting infrastructure. So I hope that part is clear. That how it is going to benefit. Yes, of course. It will also reduce salinization of groundwater. That is also correct. It will also reduce this salinization of groundwater. Okay. So that is also correct. So this is one part, that what can be the possible advantage, and this we have a case study in this area. And one of the schemes which can be used for this, one of the very prominent scheme which can be used for this is MG Narega. MG Narega can be very much useful in creation of these water harvesting structures. So while all other missions are there, but MG Narega is one of the key missions which can help in water harvesting. Yes, lesser pollution also, pradushan bhi kam hoga. Okay. So this is one part about water harvesting. Okay. Now, coming to the next part, another important thing, women in agriculture. So can you tell me how many women in India, like how many women in India are part of, or if we are talking about agricultural workforce, if we talk about the agricultural workforce, how much percentage of women are there as part of agricultural workforce? Okay. There are two questions. First thing is percentage of women as part of agri workforce. Second, land holding for women. About 70%. 70% is too high. 70%, 80%? How come these figures? Percentage of women. %80. Roughly around, like, there are different figures, but roughly around what we see that less than 10% of holding, 25%. Okay. Anything else? %47%. See, if we talk about this, okay, what we see that, like, women, if we talk about this, in case of South Asia, if we are not talking simply about India, in case of South India, what we see that like 39%, that is roughly the percentage of women in agri labor force. 80% which we are telling about, suppose that if 100 women are employed, then out of that 80% of them are employed in agriculture. So that is among the women, 80% are engaged in agriculture. But if we are talking about the total agricultural force of the country, if we talk about the total agricultural force, agri force of the country, so in that, participation of women is 39% in South Asia. But if we talk about like India, it goes nearly up to 60%. Okay. 39% in South Asia. Now, land holding for women, it is roughly around 14%. It is roughly around 14%. So what we see that in case of India, it is nearly up to 60%. A little bit up higher than 60% in 2022-23. In case of South Asia, it is 39%. In case of women, if 100 women are employed, so out of that 80% are employed in agriculture. So this is first thing, facts and figures about women in agriculture. Now, 2026, if we talk about 2026, it has been declared as International Year of Women Farmer. Okay. So United Nations General Assembly, it declared International Year of Women Farmer. Okay. What we see that 2026, it has been declared as International Year of Women Farmer. So that is for 2026. It has been declared as International Year of Women Farmer. So while we are having all these facts, let us talk about the main things, that what are the key challenges for women farmer? Key challenges for women farmer. So there are certain facts which we have seen. Now, if we talk about the key challenges, one of the major and in fact the most important thing is lack of ownership of land. Okay. So first major thing is lack of land ownership. That is one of the major challenge, lack of land ownership. That is one of the, in fact, the major challenge. And due to this, what we see that there is limited access. There is limited access to loans and subsidies. There is limited access to loans as well as subsidies. Then due to this, what we see that they are not having that much of capital. So lack of capital. Lack of capital for agriculture. You can see these all things are connected to each other. They are connected to each other. On the other side, what we see that in India, there has not been a culture of agricultural education. Agriculture is considered as a subject that if you are not getting engineering, if you are not getting MBA, if you are not getting medical, if you are not cracking IIT, NEET, UPSC exam, state PCS exam, if you are getting nowhere, then you get in agriculture. So in India, people consider agriculture not as a subject. Okay. So that is one general narrative of the society. So what we see that inadequate knowledge of climate resilient agriculture. Okay. So what we see that there is inadequate knowledge of climate resilient agriculture. So that is also one of the challenge. Okay. Then we see that there is lack or poor digital access. Poor digital access, poor market access, then of course lack of policy support. So all these factors, what we see that all these factors are one of the major challenges for women farmer in India. Okay. Although government has been like doing a number of efforts, some of the state governments, central government, they have also been taking a number of steps. Okay. So if we see this, some government steps, if we look at the some of the government steps, what we see that just for example, in Assam there is a enact program. Okay. In Assam we have this enact program. So this one is focusing on climate resilience and women empowerment. Okay. Climate resilience and women empowerment in agriculture. This one is working for climate resilience. Okay. So it is helping them to access the information, to make decision on the basis of information, local agricultural methods, local climate adapted tools, they are being promoted under this enact program. Okay. Then we have this Mahila Kishan Sashakti Pariyojana. Mahila Kishan Sashakti Pariyojana. So that is also providing subsidy support for women on farm machinery. Okay. So what we see that Mahila Kishan Sashakti Yojana, 50 to 80% subsidy to women on farm machinery. Now, generally there is a loophole in all these schemes. What generally happens that, like suppose if women are getting subsidy, so how people are misusing that scheme? They are using the name of women of their family to avail the subsidy, and then the agriculture is actually being carried out by the male members of the family. So while government is thinking that if we are having subsidy in the name of women, it will promote women in agriculture. But you know that in our society, what is the trend? If there is a subsidy in the name of women, what they actually do, that they purchase the equipment in the name of women, get the subsidy, and then women are sidelined. The machineries are being used by the male members. A better scheme has been Namo Drone Didi scheme. So here with NGOs, empowerment of women. What we see that empowerment of women in agriculture. So this is still one of the better scheme. Why? Because here there is no option. It is not being provided to one woman. Rather, what we see that it is a women-led group which is getting the subsidy and all, and from there more and more women are getting into this scheme. They are being trained of operating drones and everything. So that is also one of the part where we can see that women can be made part of the agriculture. Yes, enact program is with Norway's collaboration. So we have this Namo Drone Didi scheme. So that one is still a better option. So this is one more topic, the government steps with respect to this women in agriculture. Now, I am giving you one task. The task for you is suggest innovative policy, innovative measures, suggest innovative measures to promote women in agriculture. So this is one thing which you have to write in the comment box later on. Think about 4-5 ideas. At least think about 5 comprehensive ideas and then tell me there that what steps can be taken for empowerment of women in the agriculture sector. Okay. So this is one topic which you have to talk about today. Okay. Namo drone. See, Namo is the name of a scheme. Okay. It is basically a scheme in which drones are being provided to NGOs which are led by women. So women are getting the drones, agricultural drones. The drones can be used for spraying pesticides or fertilizers in the agricultural fields. So these drones are provided to women-led NGOs. Plus, there is training also of women. The women can operate the drones. They can spray the fertilizers over the farms. So they are being trained also. They are being provided the drones on subsidy as well. So that is Namo Drone Didi scheme. Okay. Yes. So today we are discussing only these 3 topics. Today there is a time constraint. We have one topic with respect to nickel that we will discuss for sure tomorrow. Okay. And other topics also we will discuss it tomorrow. Today there is a time constraint. Okay. So let's meet tomorrow. Then we will discuss the topic of nickel over there. And then we will also see questions with respect to this. So this is one task for you. Suggest innovative measures to promote women in agriculture. Okay. So just mention your answers about this. And in the next session, we will be discussing the topic of nickel. Okay. So any question, any doubt? Tell me about some other schemes also. Also in the comment box, tell me about some other schemes also which have been used for women empowerment in agriculture sector. So that is one task for you. One, suggest measures for promoting women in agriculture. Second, suggest me more schemes. Some state-based schemes can also be there. Some special state-based schemes can also be there for promoting women in agriculture. Okay. So thank you everyone.